Take two.
Take two.
Luke, thanks very much for joining me today, pal. This is take two. We may have to make this take three, but we'll see how it goes. But thank you very much, sir. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I'm really excited to have a chat with you. Just a brief chat, just to let everybody know about your journey inside coaching so far. So thank you very much for joining us. You've been with J2 now. You've been a part of the coaching program for coming up to 9 months, I believe, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Initially, we started a little fat loss phase, lost a ton of fat. Now we're in a build phase, and your performance is going through the roof. But before we dive into those details, I just want you, if you don't mind, just explain to everybody kind of like a little bit of how you were feeling, like how you're looking, how you're feeling, what your general day to day was like before coming into the coaching program.
Yeah, so before I started with yourself, I hated. I've always trained, but I hated what I saw in the mirror, and I hadn't really had any clue of how to go about getting where I wanted to be. Um, it it was a hard decision to make. I won't lie. That I then decided that I needed help. That was a hard decision for me to take, like personally. But I'd say I just lost love with myself, if I'm honest with you, and I hated how I looked. I just wanted to be more confident and feel a bit of self-worth about myself and how I looked. And, it just got to that stage where I felt like I needed some help, to be honest with you. And that's when I reached out to yourself.
I respect that, mate. I respect that a lot. A lot of people, will go throughout their training career and their life, literally training all the time, like you were, right? 6 sessions per week on it, diet being as good as you thought it could be. But when you face the facts year after year, you actually stay the same, or maybe actually regress a little bit. And credit to yourself for just thinking, you know what, I actually do need a little bit of support here. And I look back now, we're 9 months down the line, completely different story, which we'll get into a little second. How did your training look back then, mate, in terms of like what type of split? Were it more like bodybuilding focused?
Yeah, so it would definitely, I'd definitely say it were more building focused. It was initially, it was, as everybody probably does start out, it was initially one body part per day. Then I sort of progressed from that. I went to some form of push pull legs, and then that's when I decided to get on the phone to yourself and make that call. But I had a little bit of structure there, but nothing like I've got now.
Yeah. No, mate, you did absolutely. I think I remember saying to you on the call 9 months ago or something like, "Look, mate, I could bullshit you and say that your training's a mess, but it wasn't a mess, for what you were doing, it were okay." But the reason why I asked that as well was because I've been slowly trying to just claw you away from that bodybuilding type mindset, right? And without putting words into your mouth, I dare say that the training that you're doing now is the most enjoyable training that you've ever done, right? We've recently done a testing week with Luke, which happens within every client within the coaching process. The way that we do our training means that every 9 to 10 weeks or so, we go through a little testing phase. And the way that training's built is based a lot more around strength, with sprinkling of like bodybuilding style accessory lifts in there as well. So you can progress with your strength movements, but also develop that nice athletic muscular physique as well. So, Luke, if you don't mind sharing, and if you know these numbers, like from when you started to now, what are we looking at with the big three: squat, bench, and deadlift?
So I'll be totally honest. Bench wise, I wouldn't actually know because I never actually really trained flat barbell bench. I'd say probably anything between maybe 50 and 60 at a push. I'm now one. Just during last testing week, I just achieved 95, I think. So that's at least a steady 35 kg increase on what I did before. Deadlift.
This is
I'd probably, I'd probably say I maxed out at probably between 80 to 100 before. I'm now deadlifting 205 kilogram, which is absolutely fucking crazy because that's like 2.5 times my body weight, which is absolutely immense. And squat, squat I'd probably done around 120, but what I will say with that is I was also 15 kg heavier than what I am now. Weight lifts weight, so that's probably why I was so high on that. But I'm now 81 kilogram squatting 135. So proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, some absolutely epic numbers there, mate. Epic numbers. And how do you almost like feel about your training now that we have sprinkled in a little bit of hit? You know, it's not all bodybuilding focused, and there's that strength in there. Are you again? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but from what we speak about on a week to week basis, the enjoyment for your training is all through the roof at the moment.
Yeah, I just feel like that that sort of split just helps me like structure my week, and it gives me an active an active recovery sort of day. Even though it's a hit session, I use that as like an active day, but it's something that where I'm not using or smashing weights out constantly, so I can break up my week, and it's a really good structure. And when I feel my recovery is absolutely so much better from the first two sessions of the week, and I'm also getting a session that makes me feel good as well. So yeah, it's a really good structure to the week that I've got at the moment, and I'm loving it.
Good to hear, man. It's that longevity piece, and it's that lifestyle where when we follow a bodybuilding approach, yeah, it's okay, but you don't really get your heart rate up too often, and you know, just jamming yourself in a machine and just trying to get one extra rep all the time, it can be quite draining on you. You know, it can be literally physically quite draining on you. Where I think there's a lot more enjoyment in this style that we take at the moment. We took Luke when he officially initially came in, needed to drop some body fat, so we took him through phase one ignite, and we lost what 17 kilograms roughly around that
Yeah,
first.
it was between 17 and 19. I'm not
Yeah,
exactly sure, but it was somewhere in that area. Yeah.
yeah, and that was super efficient. Luke like came in, and I'll be honest, he's not put a foot wrong. He's not put a foot wrong, and he's made it look easy. How do you feel like this structure and phases has benefited your progress here, Luke, rather than just going into the gym kind of a bit aimlessly with your goals and with the plan? How do you feel this like structure's benefited your progress overall so
Um,
far?
Honestly, I feel like I've got like a lot more energy, to be honest with you, to shell out and do these sessions, because they are taxing sessions, to be honest with you, especially early on in the week. But I don't know. I feel like I've just obviously with a diet where it is. I just feel like I've just got so much more energy, and even though they are hard sessions, which they are, I still feel like I can go again. Do you know what I mean? And that's down to my diet and what I'm eating, and it just gives me that get up and go that I need to do what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Oh, bang on, mate. Going through those phases properly, like we have done, getting lean, reverse diet, going into the thrive, allows you to have that, long-lasting energy. Because what typically a lot of people do is reduce the calories down and then stay there forever. Screws up metabolism, hormones go in the bin, and then they just binge because it's not sustainable. You do things properly like we have, and it's absolute game changing. You can then keep a relatively lean physique all year round. And we're going to be going into a little diet with Luke in the next 3 months or so, I believe, is when his holidays. And that diet's going to be no more than 4 weeks because we've managed this phase appropriately. And how nice would it be to only have a diet for 4 weeks again for the rest of your life? Game changing. Instead of having to do a 6 month diet to get you from A to B, do things right the first time, and then you only have to diet for 4 weeks max for the rest of your life. Luke, how do you feel now, mate? Generally, we spoke. The first question was about how did you feel before. How are you feeling now, mate? We've gone through these phases like we discussed. You're crushing PBs every week. deadlifts, what have you.
I,
How
honestly,
do you feel
I
now?
feel incredible. Like, I'm energetic. I've got more somehow I've got more time to do things because I've got a structure to my plan. Do you know what I mean? I don't spend 4 hours in the gym. I go do my session. I've got my meals already prepped. Like, every night I'm prepping for the next day, so I'm not rushing around cooking and stuff the next day or getting fast food. Or I'm just always in time, and I've got plenty of time to do things. And I just feel absolutely incredible. Like, how I'm performing in the gym is like, I never thought I'd be able to deadlift 200 kilogram in a million years, but here I am doing it, and I just feel immense. And to be honest with you, the old since I even started this, I've just got so much more clarity on everything. Like, my mindset's absolutely so much different to what it was. Like, and not in terms of motivation or anything, just how I see stuff. Like, since I started with you, I've obviously trimmed down, and performance is through the roof, but I've also proposed to my girlfriend. I felt like I had clarity from everything else. That's just what I needed to do. Started a business. So it's not even just what it comes with the training. It's also to do with what sort of mindset it gives you on other things going on in your life.
Look, that's awesome, mate. Honestly, you give me goosebumps there, mate. My hairs have come up on my arms. If that doesn't give you watching some motivation to get yourself to the gym and start your journey, I don't know what will, because that's absolutely epic. Luke, I appreciate it very much, mate. Last question from me would be, and given what you've just said, mate, I think I don't really need to ask it, but I'm going to anyway. What would you say to somebody who is potentially on the fence about coming and joining the
Do it;
team?
it'll change your life. Literally, if you're umming and ahhing about it, I know it'll be 6 months hard work to start with, like very hard work. But if you put the effort in, Josh will get you there. He will get you there, and he will give you your dream body and your dream mindset. Enough said.